Welcome back to the channel. I'm your tall Tailor. Today we are going to be making a bag, a little bit more of a unique design. I don't think I've made like a backpack before. This is more of like a cosplay type backpack, so definitely something new and different for me. Like, subscribe, all that stuff, and let's get this on. All right, so we're going to be making a bag, and I'm just trying to think about the dimensions of the bag that we have here. What we're basically going to be drawing is a sort of like capsule shape, and with the capsule shape, it has two stripes going through it, and it is a half sphere on the bottom here and a half sphere on the top. The entire length, what we want it to be is we want it to be 20 inches with two little dangly deflated balloon shapes at the bottom, and we want these ones to be approximately 8 inches. So the entire thing is going to be 28 inches long. If I were to make this into more of a 3D shape, if I were to like put this inside like a cube to sort of visualize the 3D nature of the object. Okay, let's take a look at that. You can see I put a cube I put this like pill shape in a cube. Hopefully you guys can visualize this. I want the top of this sort of cylinder to be 10 inches and one of the sides, so I guess the width, to be 6 inches. So we have sort of like we have an object, pill-shaped object, cylinder. Kind of think of it as like a cylinder with two semi-spheres on top of it, and also these two sort of like deflated balloon shapes. This kind of reminds me of, I don't know if you guys remember or took chemistry, like SP orbitals. That's what these things kind of remind me of. Anyway, yeah, so we got 10 by 6 and you also got 20 inches. So what I'm going to try and do when I make a shape like this is I have to think about how I'm going to make, first of all, this like dome semi-sphere shape. The cylinder seems pretty simple because making a cylinder is pretty much just stitching two sides of a rectangle together. And also these shapes down here, these are going to be pretty complex to make. So I'm just going to sort of brainstorm. All right, so I did brainstorm and sort of like trial and error a couple of things. I actually ended up buying a compass, two compasses actually. This is one compass and the other compass is actually here. I need like a bigger compass. I tried to figure out a good shape for number one, the dome, and number two, the sort of like deflated balloon shapes. So I did come up with patterns. I have 3 different patterns here. These 2 patterns are the patterns for the dome. So I'm going to be cutting, this is the one with a bottom of, like about 5 inches, a little bit more than 5 inches plus seam allowance. And this one is 6 inches with seam allowance. So I'm going to be cutting 2 of the 6 and 4 of the 5 and like kind of bring those together to make a dome. And also I'm going to be cutting 4 of these sort of like dreidel shapes. I know what you'd call this, like a spear point dreidel kind of shape. And I'm going to be cutting 4 of these to make the little like deflated balloon things at the bottom. I already test stitched it, so this is what that looks like with the 6 pieces together. This is going to be the dome shape for the bottom, and also this one here is going to be that sort of like spear point shape for the top. You can see I cut 4 of these. It did take me quite a while to sort of brainstorm, but I do like the shape of these now. And now that I have this cut out, I'm going to be doing the exact same thing with the actual fabric. I just did this in muslin so I can just have a test for it. All right, so one thing I do want to note when I sewed this dome shape, this is 6 panels. This is good for the bottom because 6 panels at the bottom is fine. Having seams at the bottom, no big deal. It's gonna be thicker fabric and I'm gonna reinforce these seams, so no big deal. But for the top, since there's gonna be like a face on it, having all these seams doesn't really look good when I'm gonna be adding a face. So what I am going to do is I wanna make a version of this that's just with 1 seam for the zipper, maybe a couple of darts, but I don't wanna have all these seams on the front because it's not gonna look as good in my opinion. So I just wanna bring that out there. I'm still working on this, so I'll probably update you guys throughout the video. All right. Right now, I kind of skipped a whole bunch of steps because there's a little bit of trial and error and going through a couple of different iterations making this bag. So we're making the bottom right now, and I did make this sort of dome shape. This pretty much stayed the same from the sample I made out of this muslin, but the thing that changed the most is actually these little 2 sort of like fluffy leg things. I changed the shape of them to make them a little bit more flat and a little less 3D. You guys watch Bob's Burgers? This kind of looks like that. I don't know. I don't watch Bob's Burgers, but like that girl with the little bunny ear thing. Anyway, this is what it's pretty much looking like so far. I kind of unstitched some of the the bottom parts here just so I can reattach it. But I made this a little bit flat, and this was the original shape. It was more like a 3D kind of shape. So I just stuffed like these two flat pieces here, and I stitched two of them together to make sort of more of like a flat shape instead of like a 3D shape. I just stuffed it with some of this batting. So I'm pretty much gonna be putting these two things together to give it more of like a 3D shape. I'm gonna take this to the sewing machine and I will be right back. All right, so I definitely did a lot of the hard work and the heavy lifting off the camera. Most of this stuff, although I did make a pattern for it, it took a lot of like trial and error trying to make the right size. So there was a lot of cutting and recutting, stitching, unpicking, restitching. But these are the pieces that I have had made so far. First up is the center sort of like donut shape. And I found the perfect fabric for this. This is like a mint, not even mint, it's more like a pistachio actually, like a pistachio green. Finding matching zippers was also very hard. You can even see this isn't exactly the same color. This is more like an ice blue with a pistachio green, but I feel like they complement each other well enough. And when you have the blue and the green next to each other, they kind of melt into each other. So they do end up matching pretty well. This is what the center donut shape kind of looks like. This with the functional zipper on the top. And I also made these two like bubblegum pink side pockets. Same thing with the zipper. This isn't like a bubblegum pink. You can kind of see the difference in color a lot more on this one than on the green one. This is more like a dark or medium pink, where there's just like a lighter bubblegum pink. But again, I feel like it looks close enough as to not sort of take away from the shape or the color of the pockets. And I also added a tiny bit of a pleat below both pockets so that you can have a little bit more space in the pockets because they are a little bit small. So I made one here and also I made a second one here. They're both identical. These zippers are going to be facing back towards the back of the bag when I attach this. Here I have some excess fabric, and here is also another thing I made. This is the middle part. Ooh, wrong side. This is the middle part of the bag, so kind of like the middle section of the character that we're making. I made sure to top stitch. I did double top stitch on this one here. Everything so that it stays nice and close together. The fabric is pretty nice and soft. Also, I added a thicker backing on the inside so that it secures everything together. So now I'm going to be pretty much putting all these pieces together and attaching it to the bottom part. Okay, this was actually surprisingly a lot more difficult than I thought it would be. Attaching this like this mint donut to the base fabric. So what I did on the inside, let's zoom in there, whoa, is I stitched it down on the inside here. You can see the back, I stitched it down. And then what I'm doing for the exterior, the larger circumference circle, is I'm kind of folding down the edges. I'm just gonna be stitching a circle all the way around. And then after that, this will be attached. And the next thing I have to do is attach the pink pockets. Okay, nice. Okay, I'm back from the sewing machine, and this was actually a lot more difficult than I thought, stitching these things on. So the pockets work here on the inside. This pocket works. And everything is stitched up nice and well. Pocket works also. Everything is stitched nice and strong, nice and well put together on the fabric. Now what I'm going to do next is I'm going to be attaching this long strip that I made onto the bottom part. I did trim the top of the bottom part so it sits a little bit better. I'm just going to be attaching these two together. I'm going to find the front, line up the middle. Before I did all this, I took the liberty of notching the strip of fabric where the middle is so that it's not going to take me, I'm not going to have to be like struggling to find the middle part when I do that. So just going to be pinning this, lining it all up. Okay, a little update on what it's looking like. I have 2 bags of batting on the inside just to give it a little bit more shape so you guys can see. This is pretty much what's looking like so far. You got the little tummy here with the big circular donut shape. You got the 2 legs coming down here, the cylinder part. The batting doesn't go all the way down to the cylinder, so it does look a little bit droopy here, but that's fine. And the sides, the hand shapes are right on the side here, which I like.
Boom, 2 handshakes on the side. And then this is the back. I didn't stitch up the back yet. I just want to make sure everything lines up, and also have to add like a little triangular shape here in the back, as well as the straps. I have to add the straps. The only thing we have to do next is add the head on here, which is like a pretty major part. I want to make sure I get the head and the face kind of correctly so that it looks nice. But this one's looking nice so far. I like it. All the pockets are functional. It's really cool. Everything's stitched on nicely. This is dope. I like it. This is dope. Okay, wow, it has been a roller coaster making this. I'm on the 3rd week or so, and I just finished making the face and the head part. This is pretty cool. I already attached the zipper here. I added these 2 little kind of like zipper stopper things at the end. Yeah, I added these little zipper stopper things at the end. It's going pretty well. I'm really happy about how this turned out. The only thing I have left to do now is just, oh, let me get this chalk out of the way, is attach this head to this body. So I turned the body inside out, so it'll be a lot easier for me to attach. And now I'm just going to pin it to the body, and then we'll almost be done. So this is the center front, and this is the center back. I added 2 pins, so it'll make it a little bit easier for me to determine. I also added pins on the sides. So I'm just gonna line these pieces up, and then up before I stitch. This looks kind of weird actually. Hold on. Should I blur this? Yeah, this is the top, this is the head, and then this is the bottom of the machine, of the bag. So I'm just gonna take this to the sewing machine, and I will be right back. Alrighty, we're back from the sewing machine, and now the moment of truth. We are gonna pop this bad boy open, and then flip it inside. Yeah, this is so Yo, this is so funny, man. This is so funny. Yo, this is so funny, man. Oh my gosh.
And we're done. Man, this took me about maybe, how long did this take me? Almost 2 months to make. I did take a little bit of a break in between because I was doing another project that I had to really lock in and focus on. This is what the bag looks like. We're done. It's really cool. It's really cute. It's not this plush, actually. I did stuff it with some stuff that would be easier to photograph. This is what the bag looks like. It's got 2 side pockets, a bigger central sort of like donut shaped pocket in the middle, and the head, if you can kind of look there, the top of the head, there's a zipper there. That's where the main compartment is for the bag. It's pretty cool. It's nice. It's light. It's fun. Very, very vibrant and bright. And yeah, I'll show some B-roll so you guys can see what it looks like. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. This was definitely something new and unique, a little bit different for me. Actually, the whole reason why I made, if you saw a couple videos ago, the Stanley Cup, that's the whole reason why I wanted to practice making like more curved and unique shapes with the Stanley Cup, and that kind of gave me a little bit of practice when making this bag. I had to buy a compass to make this bag and use a whole bunch of different unique, you know, cutting and sewing techniques and stuff like that. Thank you guys again for watching. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.